We're constantly bombarded with stories of these monumental, like, overnight successes, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, the game-winning shot, the viral sensation, maybe a company that just seems to explode onto the scene.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you actually pull back the curtain, what's almost always there
Yeah.
is this foundation of incredibly consistent, often kind of behind-the-scenes effort.
That's so true. Our focus, it just naturally goes to that dramatic finish line, the
Yeah,
visible result.
right.
But what's truly compelling, the real driving force behind achievement, it really lies in those everyday, seemingly insignificant actions that people repeat almost without fail.
Exactly. It's less about waiting for this huge wave of motivation to just wash over you,
Yeah.
or, I don't know, being born with some inherent magical talent.
Right.
What we're really diving into today is the surprisingly huge power of routine.
Yeah.
It's like the quiet workhorse that holds up so many remarkable lives.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission, really, in this deep dive is to unpack exactly how these top performers strategically weave everyday habits into the very fabric of their, well, extraordinary success.
And to really get this, we kind of need to understand the why behind it all, why routines are so powerful.
Okay?
And a key insight here is the concept of willpower. Think of it like a muscle, maybe.
Okay, yeah.
The more you flex it through the day with countless decisions, big or small, the more it gets tired out. That constant mental back and forth we face can really drain our reserves.
Okay, let's unpack this idea of decision fatigue a bit. I know that feeling. It's like you've had a crazy busy day, and suddenly deciding what to watch on TV feels like climbing Mount Everest.
Exactly, that's it, precisely.
So how do routines step in to help with that mental drain?
Well, routines essentially automate certain parts of our day. They just take away the need for that conscious deliberation.
Ah.
A really perfect illustration is Barack Obama's suits.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Right. He famously preferred wearing mostly blue or gray suits. And while it might seem like such a small detail, his reasoning was all about conserving mental energy.
For the bigger stuff.
Exactly. For the much bigger decisions he faced every single day. By just removing that one minor choice, he freed up really valuable cognitive resources.
I see your point. It's like setting up these little mental shortcuts. So instead of constantly debating, should I do this now, the routine just kicks in.
Yep, it takes over.
Now, another idea that's really striking is this notion of the compound effect. It sounds a bit, I don't know, financial maybe, but the implications feel huge.
Oh, they are. And it goes beyond just simple addition. What's fascinating is how those small, consistent actions, when you repeat them over time, they create exponential results.
Exponential.
Think about it. Writing just one page every single day might not feel like a big deal in the moment.
Right. It seems tiny.
But if you stick with that routine day after day, you'll likely have a completed book draft in about a year. It's that slow, steady accumulation of small efforts that leads to really significant outcomes. Plus, this consistent action, it also reinforces your belief in your own ability to achieve things.
Ah, so it builds confidence too.
Yeah, it creates this sort of positive feedback loop that just fuels more effort.
It's almost counterintuitive, isn't it? We're often looking for these giant leaps forward.
Mm-hmm.
But the real progress often comes from those tiny, consistent steps.
Yeah.
Now, you also mentioned routines acting as a kind of stress shield. I found that really interesting, especially the Navy SEALs example.
Yes, exactly. In really high-pressure situations, routines provide a sense of control, predictability.
Okay.
For Navy SEALs before a mission, engaging in these specific, well-rehearsed rituals, it helps ground them in the present moment, it helps manage fear, and it really focuses their energy.
So psychological as well as practical.
Absolutely. These routines aren't just about the steps, they're about crucial psychological prep. This predictability, especially in high-stakes situations, lets the mind focus on the task at hand, rather than getting overwhelmed by, all the unknowns.
So it's not just about structuring your to-do list, it's about structuring your mental state too.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. And you also touched on this idea that routines play a fundamental role in shaping our identity. Can you elaborate on that link?
Absolutely. If we consistently do certain things, those behaviors gradually become part of how we see ourselves.
Okay.
For instance, if you have a routine of going for a run 3 times a week, after a while, you start to identify as someone who values fitness, or maybe even as a runner.
Right, you become a runner.
Exactly. The routine reinforces that identity, and then in turn, that identity makes it more likely you'll actually stick to the routine. It's a really powerful cycle.
Okay, so we're really starting to get the deep power of routines here. Now, let's get down to the more practical side. You mentioned studying over 200 high performers and identifying some key common elements in their routines. What were some of the sort of the main pillars you saw?
Well, what's fascinating is the remarkable consistency we found, across such a diverse group of successful people. One really key pillar is what we can call the anchor habit.
Anchor habit.
Think of it as your keystone habit, that non-negotiable routine, often the very first thing you do in the morning, that anchors your day in positivity and really sets the tone for success.
Can you give us some specific examples? Like, what kinds of anchor habits did these high performers actually have?
Yeah, we saw things like a 5 a.m. workout, a dedicated meditation practice, or even just consistent journaling first thing. The specific habit itself isn't really as crucial as the fact that it's a deliberate, positive start.
Right.
It signals intention and discipline for the day.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like setting your internal compass right at the start. Okay, what's the second key pillar you identified?
The second crucial element is understanding that energy management is way more important than just time management.
Ooh, okay. Tell me more.
High performers don't just cram things into their schedules, they strategically align their most demanding tasks with their personal peak energy levels. We all have these circadian rhythms, right?
Mm-hmm.
They dictate when we're naturally more alert or focused. Understanding and actually working with those natural peaks is key.
This is a big one for me. I definitely have times when my brain feels like it's running on fumes.
Mhm.
So instead of just tackling tasks chronologically, we should be much more aware of our own internal rhythms.
Exactly. Most people, unfortunately, tend to work against their natural biology. They try to force focus when their energy is naturally low.
Guilty.
Yeah, me too sometimes. But elite performers recognize these patterns. They consciously schedule their most brain-intensive work for those times when they know they'll be naturally most alert and focused.
That's a really valuable shift in perspective. Okay, what about how we wind down? You mentioned a shutdown ritual as the third pillar. What's that about?
Right. The end of the workday is just as critical as the beginning. A shutdown ritual is basically a conscious way to formally close out your professional activities
Okay.
and create a really clear boundary between work and your personal recovery time. This is absolutely essential for preventing burnout and letting yourself fully recharge.
And you mentioned Elon Musk's closed list approach as an example. How does that actually work?
Yeah, he reportedly ends his day by reviewing what didn't get done on his list.
Oh, okay. Seems a bit negative.
Well, it might seem counterintuitive at first, yeah,
Yeah.
focusing on what wasn't accomplished, but the practice actually gives a sense of closure,
Ah, I see.
and it helps him prioritize effectively for the next day, preventing those unfinished tasks from just kind of lingering in the back of his mind overnight.
That's interesting. So it's about acknowledging reality, not just patting yourself on the back. Okay, and the fourth pillar, the weekly reset. That sounds absolutely crucial for like long-term sustainability and avoiding burnout.
Absolutely. Just like we need those daily routines, we also need regular breaks to stop mental and physical exhaustion from just piling up.
Right.
Bill Gates famously takes his think weeks twice a year for really deep, uninterrupted work.
Yeah, most of us can't quite manage that.
Exactly. While that level of immersion might not be practical for everyone, the basic principle holds. We need regular, smaller resets, maybe just weekly, to step back, reflect on progress, and recharge the batteries.
So intentional breaks, not just kind of collapsing on the couch Friday night.
Precisely. It's deliberate recovery.
Now, you also shared a really practical tip, habit stacking. That sounds like a fantastic way to actually start putting some of these ideas into practice in our own lives.
Habit stacking is, yeah, it's really simple, but incredibly powerful for integrating new routines. The core idea is you link a new habit you want to build onto an existing habit.
Okay.
Something you already do consistently without thinking. For example, you might decide, okay, after I brush my teeth, which is automatic, I will read just 10 pages of a book, the new habit.
Oh, okay.
This technique basically leverages the neural pathways already set up for the existing habit, making it significantly easier for the new one to stick.
That's brilliant. It's like getting a free ride for your new habit by attaching it to something you already do on autopilot. Love that. Okay, so we've explored these four key pillars. Now, let's look at some real-world examples. It's always so helpful to see how these principles actually play out in the lives of people who've achieved amazing things. You mentioned Stephen King earlier and his incredibly consistent writing routine.
Stephen King is, yeah, a truly compelling example of just unwavering consistency. He famously commits to writing 2,000 words every single day.
Oh, even holidays.
Even holidays, no exceptions. This absolute dedication to his daily writing routine is, I mean, it's undeniably a major foundation of his incredibly prolific and successful career.
That level of discipline is really something else. And then
Yeah.
there's Kobe Bryant. His dedication to basketball practice was legendary, almost unbelievable.
Oh, Kobe Bryant's routine was just the embodiment of focused repetition and that relentless pursuit of mastery.
Mm-hmm.
His famous practice of making 800 jump shots before team practice even started.
Crazy.
It's just a powerful illustration of how deliberate practice baked into a consistent routine can lead to extraordinary skill. It
Mm.
wasn't just about showing up. It was intentional, high-volume work focused on constant improvement. That level of commitment is, yeah, truly something to think about.
And Oprah Winfrey's morning routine highlights a different, but maybe equally crucial aspect, right? Focusing on mindset from the get-go.
Exactly. Oprah's consistent morning routine, which apparently includes dedicated time for meditation and expressing gratitude, it really highlights the fundamental importance of starting the day with clear intention and a positive mental state.
Sets the tone.
Absolutely. It sets a powerful tone for the entire day and undoubtedly contributes significantly to her overall well-being and, by extension, her continued success.
It becomes so clear, looking at these examples, that their routines weren't just something they added after they became successful.
Not at all.
They were absolutely fundamental to achieving that success in the first place. It really flips how we often think about accomplishment, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It really underscores the core idea we've been talking about. Extraordinary achievements are very often the direct result of consistently ordinary actions,
Yeah.
performed with clear intention and unwavering discipline.
Okay, so we've thoroughly explored the profound power of routine, the key pillars, seen how they manifest in real life. Now is time for you, our listeners, to maybe take that first step. We're launching a 21-day routine challenge. Can you tell us exactly how it works?
Okay, the very first step is simple. Consciously identify just one keystone habit that you want to actively cultivate in your life.
Just one.
Just one to start. It could be something related to, say, exercise, or maybe committing to learning something new or dedicating time to that creative project you keep putting off.
Right.
The most important thing is to choose something that genuinely resonates with your personal goals.
Got it. One keystone habit. What's the next step for the challenge?
Next, we use that powerful habit stacking principle we talked about.
Yeah.
You need to consciously link this brand new habit to an existing daily habit you already do without thinking. So, for example, if you want to start meditating and you always have coffee in the morning,
Yep.
you could create the link. Immediately after I finish my coffee, I will sit and meditate for just 5 minutes.
That makes it feel so much more doable, doesn't it? Starting small and linked. Okay, and what's the crucial final step for this 21-day challenge?
The final and absolutely essential step is tracking. Track your new habit consistently every single day for the entire 21 days.
Okay.
You can use something really simple like just putting an X on a physical calendar on your wall, or, use one of the many habit tracking apps out there. The key is consistency in tracking to hold yourself accountable.
And we really want to encourage you to jump in and take this challenge with us. If you decide you're going to participate in the 21-day routine challenge, head down to the comment section below and just let us know. Type routine writer.
Yeah, do it.
I'll personally try to reply to a few of you, give some encouragement, help keep you on track.
And remember this, it's an incredibly important truth. You don't ultimately rise to the level of your goals, no matter how ambitious they are. What truly determines your path is that you fall to the level of your systems.
Wow.
And your daily and weekly routines. Those are the fundamental systems that will, in the end, shape the course of your life.
So let's maybe collectively move away from this often unrealistic obsession with those dramatic overnight breakthroughs and really start focusing on building those solid, reliable foundations, just one consistent habit at a time. Embrace the profound power of routine and let's start building your own unique legacy, one intentional habit at a time.